And now, joining the list of immortals who have left an indelible mark on the game of hockey in the United States, please welcome David Poile to the United States Hockey Hall of Fame.
Thank you, everybody, and congratulations to Red, Natalie, Hago Harrington's family, and to Paul Stewart, and to Abby, Ellie, and Johnny, JJ. So many good things have been said about JJ tonight. It's just, I'm just so happy that he got this recognition with the Lester Patrick Award. He was simply just the best. I can't think of anything but good things to say about JJ. He was so positive, and he was such a good person. I just cherish my friendship with him and really miss him dearly. As a member of the NHL Hall of Fame Selection Committee, I know firsthand how hard the selection committee works and the level of diligence goes into making a selection like this, and perhaps most humbly, the number of equally qualified candidates that don't make the final cut. Over the years, I've actively supported USA Hockey, including formation, selection, management of U.S. national teams for World Championships and for the Olympic Games. But my contributions pale in comparison to what USA Hockey has given me in return. So it is with a great deal of humility that I thank the committee for this honor. I, like everybody else, sat down and started making a list of all the people I wanted to thank who've helped me over my nearly 50-year hockey career. The NHL, Hockey USA, staff, management, owners, both past and present, who have trusted and supported me, coaches, players, staff, both on and off the ice, and in many cases, my list would include their spouses and significant others. So when I got up to a couple hundred names, I decided that you would never forgive me if I tried to mention them all, and I would never forgive myself if I inadvertently missed someone. So I guess we'd all be here all night. So to each of you and to each of them, I extend a collective heartfelt thanks for making this honor possible. Thank you very much. However, I would like to acknowledge three people most critical to my career: my father, Bud, my wife, Elizabeth, and my first boss and mentor, Cliff Fletcher. I was born into a hockey family in Canada, but it wasn't until I came to the United States that my life, both on and off the ice, truly took off. As hockey has grown and flourished in the U.S., so too has my life in hockey. My earliest recollections of my dad, Bud, were after his playing careers were over in the National Hockey League. He went into coaching and then ultimately went into management. He was named the first general manager of the Philadelphia Flyers and then on to the first general manager of the Vancouver Canucks, two expansion franchises. And then later in his career, he served as both the president of the Central Hockey League and the commissioner of the International Hockey League. And one of his proudest accomplishments was when he won the Lester Patrick Award for his multiple contributions to hockey in the U.S. Throughout his long career, my dad never talked about the wins and losses. Never talked about them. But what he talked about all the time was how his decisions would help advance hockey. I saw firsthand my work my dad did as ambassador in the sport, particularly in the United States, and he was the ultimate builder, and he instilled in me the desire to be involved in hockey, to grow it, and to make it better at all levels. For me, my father's greatest career move came when I was 13 years old. He became the coach and general manager of the San Francisco Seals in the Western Hockey League. It was a move that would change my life forever. My first memory of California was meeting my next door neighbor. This neighbor knew nothing about hockey, but she had the best set of pigtails and brown eyes I had ever seen. Her name was Elizabeth. Nearly 50 years later, she's still at my side and has been at my side every step of the way, and truly she deserves much of the credit for any success I've had in my life. Because we've been married so long, we've often asked what the secret is to a great marriage. And so what we tell everybody is that it always comes down to who makes the big decisions in your family. So early in our marriage, I sat Elizabeth down and I said, we came to this understanding that I will make all the major decisions in our marriage, and she will make all the minor decisions in our marriage. So here we are, after 47 years of marriage, we have never had to make a major decision. More importantly, Elizabeth completed my life with two great children. My son Brian, who's assistant GM with the Predators, and my daughter Lauren, both here with us tonight. And they and their spouses, Valerie, who's here, and Todd, have in turn greatly enriched our lives with three grandchildren, Ellie, Charlotte, and Wyatt. I would not be here without you, and my honor is your honor. My first job in hockey was in 1972 with the expansion Atlanta Flames, following my dad's footsteps and helping grow the game in a non-traditional market, a role I continue today in Nashville. I worked for the GM, Cliff Fletcher, who completed the hockey education my father had begun. Under Cliff, I learned firsthand about the challenges of being a general manager. For example, as an assistant GM, I was constantly bombarding Cliff with suggestions for trades, some a little bit more realistic than others. And then one day he just had it. He was weary of my daily onslaughts, and he kind of stopped me short, and he pointed his finger at me and said, "David, one day, if you're ever so lucky to become a general manager, you'll learn that it's not easy to make a trade." He reminded me that there was real people involved. He was clearly sending me a message that I have carried with me to this day. Every decision requires a great deal of thought and an even greater amount of empathy. I owe Cliff so much, as he unselfishly prepared me for a long career as a general manager. After 10 years with the Flames, I became the first general manager of the Washington Capitals. Heeding Cliff's advice to be thoughtful and patient, I waited a whole 10 days before making the biggest trade in franchise history, acquiring Norris Trophy winner, now USA Hall of Famer Rod Langway, who is here tonight. Rod would become our captain and dramatically alter the team's trajectory for the better. As part of the deal, we parted ways with Ryan Walter, who just so happened to be the owner, Abe Poland's favorite player. When I called Abe, I said I made a trade. He says, "Okay, what did you do?" I said, "I traded Ryan Walter." And I tried to get the next word out, and he said, "You did what?" And there's a long pause, and so I said, "Mr. Poile, I traded Ryan Walter and Rick Green. I got Rod Langway," and then a long pause on the phone. He says, "I hope you know what you're doing," and hung up the phone. I was 33 years old. I had had the job for 10 days, and the owner hung up the phone. So here we are, like 35 years later as the general manager. Every time I make a trade, hang up the phone, and I say, "I hope you know what you're doing." After 15 years with the Caps, I am incredibly proud of all that we accomplished, making the playoffs 14 straight seasons, but being the GM of the hockey club in the nation's capital also instilled in me the great appreciation for our country. While we never won a cup in my time there, I took real pride in seeing Washington hoist Lord Stanley this past season. And for those Caps in attendance, please take good care of it, because I'm planning to stop by in June to pick it up. When deciding my next role following the Caps, I had two choices. I had a couple of job offers, and one was to fix an existing team, and the other was to build a team. And I chose to build a team. I chose to help to build the Nashville Predators, one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. I'm so proud of what we've all done here in Nashville. I've witnessed the market fall in love with our hockey team and embrace our whole team. I mean, today, Commissioner Bettman, I hope you would agree, Nashville is a model NHL franchise. I I thank I thank all the Predators fans that are here tonight. Everybody's had anything to do with our team. Owners, both past and present, presidents, both past and present, assistant GMs, both past and present, our trainers, our hockey ops staff. Together, you have made Nashville a hockey city. It's just a tremendous story. It's one of the things I'm the most proud of in my life. And during my career, I've witnessed some really exciting changes in our sport, particularly its dramatic growth in the United States. And there are several key things that stick out in my mind. As you saw in the video, I arrived as a freshman at Northeastern University in Boston in 1966. At the same time, a young defenseman named Bobby Orr joined the Boston Bruins. Orr revolutionized hockey and did much to popularize it in the United States. He turned defense into offense in the NHL, and hockey everywhere has never been the same. A year later, the NHL doubled in size, going from 6 teams to 12 teams, with new teams from Philadelphia to Los Angeles, giving the league a nationwide footprint. And then some 20 years later, in another watershed moment, the game's greatest player, Wayne Gretzky, was traded to LA and instantly made hockey cool for millions of American kids. As Red Berenson said, consider in the late 1960s, there was only 6 American-born players in the National Hockey League. This year in the National Hockey League, over 25% of the NHL is made up of NHL players, with stars coming from California, Arizona, and Texas. The growth has been incredible. With 24 and soon to be 25 NHL franchises in the U.S., the leadership that USA Hockey has and the formation of like the U.S. National Development Training Program and the galvanizing moment of the 1980 Olympic gold medal, the American impact on the game is undeniable, and I believe has set the path for the U.S. to be the #1 source of NHL players, an unquestioned global leader in hockey. So as I look back over my career, I'm particularly thankful to have witnessed and been a participant, at least in some of these things, actually transforming a great Canadian game into a rapidly growing North American sport. I believe the most important part of my job going forward is mentoring the younger generation of hockey people to lead our great game in its next exciting era. To be the world's most exciting and popular sport, I have unshakable faith that they can and will do it. There are a lot of things in the world of hockey that we can be proud of, but there's nothing that compares to the people that work in this business, from the players to management, from my NHL colleagues to all the many people connected with USA Hockey. It's the relationships to stand out the most. It's not about the wins and losses. My dad was right. So was Cliff Fletcher. You can never forget the human side of the business. I am so thankful for everything that this game has given me, but I'm most thankful of all for all the people I've met along the way. We've shared a lifetime of memories. I've cherished them all. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for sharing this journey and this incredible honor. Thank you very much.